Welcome to the Revolutionary CEO Podcast. I'm your host, Letitia Lynch, Paris lover, devoted boy mom, Capricorn, and chronic overachiever. After launching my business in 2020, it grew faster than I anticipated and quickly turned into all the things I hated about toxic corporate overwork culture. Now I'm restructuring it to prioritize the lifestyle I desire and break free from overworking without compromising my income. Join me every Wednesday as I give you the inside scoop on how to balance business, work, motherhood, self-care, and mental health. As your marketing coach, I'll also be sharing my experiences with contractors and clients, having a team, as well as personal and business branding, practical business and marketing advice, strategies, and tips. Let's get into it. It is officially my business's 4-year anniversary, and I thought it would be a fun and different approach to this episode if I interviewed myself. It is 1:30 in the morning, so please expect this episode to be extremely raw and unfiltered, off the top of the dome. I literally was just writing down questions. I have 12 questions to ask myself, and I think you all will love the answer. So let's just dive right in. So first of all, the business has officially hit its 4-year anniversary. I went full-time in my business on July the 11th of 2020, and it is now July 11th, 2024. So first question, what's the answer you would never say or tell people, but it's really your motivations for starting the business and deciding on July 11th, 2020 to go all in full-time? Quite frankly, I was like, I am so tired of people telling me what to do. Like, I feel like when you work at certain levels of corporate, like in management, you start to make your way up to management, you'll realize that sometimes your boss above you don't know shit. And they are making so much more money than you. I remember one time, not that this boss, he knew what he was talking about, by the way. He was great, loved him. But I feel like he didn't really go to bat for me when it came to me getting this promotion that I deserved. And I was helping that company so much, and I was getting big results for them. And I was called a marketing coordinator, and all I asked was for a raise and a different title to marketing manager and a raise. And I gave all of the amazing reasons. And he was like, yeah, I'll pitch this to the CEO. And the CEO was on vacation one time. And then everybody's going to get an evaluation at this point in time. So we're going to do them all at that time. And they kept delaying it. And then I applied for some other job and got it. And it was like a management role and paid so much more. And do you know, when I went to put in my 2-week notice, he was like, okay, well, what if we give you that title and we give you that pay bump? And I'm like, so all this time you knew that I should get it anyway, and what it took for you to give it to me was me leaving? No. And I didn't like that kind of energy. And I'm like, we out here getting played by these corporations and these people when we can make this money on our own. So honestly, when I made 5 figures the first month, I was like, is this a fluke? That was in June. And then when it happened again in July, I was like, fuck this job. And I quit. That's the real story. I don't say that in interviews. What are some of the toughest decisions you made that turned out well in the long run, but felt like a mistake in the moment? One of the toughest mistakes that I made, really, I would say, is when I decided to get rid of my my launch VIP day. My launch VIP day is a 6-figure offer. It is something that made me so much revenue in a month. I didn't have to work with that many clients. And I felt like because I started outsourcing and having people help me with that service, I felt like I could take on more people and keep making more money, more. But a decision that I ended up making, which was tough in 2022, was to get rid of it. I hated it. I hated it so much. I loved it at first, but then the tougher the clients I started getting, and the more it felt like it was misaligned. And also the more I felt like I didn't want to do any of the parts and I just wanted to outsource all of it, the more I was like, why am I doing this offer then? And so finally I made the tough decision to get rid of it. And what was going to be the reality is you are getting rid of a really major piece of your revenue. are you going to be able to deal with that? And the honest truth is I had to think of myself. And I don't think I ever really, I didn't think, I never put myself first in like my mental health, my family life, like none of that stuff was first. I was always thinking of the business. And I think that that's a big trait of like a Capricorn, but I also have so many other, like my rising and my, my Venus and all that stuff. It's like Capricorn, Virgo, air. It's so many aggressive worker bees, on top of the fact that I'm like an Enneagram 8. I just feel like the more I learned about personalities, the more I realized the reason you behave this way is because your makeup, like your energetic and astrological makeup has designed you to be this way, and you are going to have to fight against that. It's tough for me to recognize that personally and health-wise, something is taking a major toll, despite I think the positive feelings I get from making money and to serve more and more and more and more people. That can't outweigh my satisfaction with my personal life or my health. And I feel like making that decision to take away something that I normally wouldn't take away because of how successful it made me feel was a big step for me. Anyway, dropping the VIP day was a very tough decision that honestly ended up turning out well, because what was birthed from leaving that opened up the space for me to create my membership, which I absolutely love. I have never felt so deeply connected to an offer. Revolutionary Brand was my very first coaching program that I loved dearly and had for 2 years. And I absolutely love that offer for the timeline that I, had it. But nothing feels like this membership feels to me. And I know it was the right decision for me. Another tough decision, though, when it comes to that membership is you are now putting yourself in a position, and I knew this coming into it, where you are going to have to rely on numbers, like volume of people. And I have never sold anything that required volume because my business started off being a high ticket business. It was meant to specifically replace my corporate income as quickly as possible. So the natural decision was have this business be a high ticket business and sell elevated high level services. And that's what I did. Switching over to selling something like a membership, which is a low ticket thing, you kind of feel like it's going to be a no-brainer purchase. But then once you get your initial group of people, the amount of people who come in, it like slows down. And you're like, well, what the hell is this all about? And why is this not a no-brainer decision for people? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't it be a no-brainer decision? And you just can't for the life of you figure that out. And so one of the things that I feel like was really tough for me, but still was the right decision, is deciding to take on a low ticket business model where you have to learn how to sell differently and you have to learn how to get that volume. I still have not figured that out, by the way. I'm slowly but surely getting where I want it to be, but it is the slowest process I've ever experienced in my life. Hate it here, but love what I've done. It was the right decision. One of the toughest decisions I had to make was, one, letting go of my OBM, who was the most amazing and best investment I've ever made into my business, as far as someone supporting it. And then eventually having to let my mom go as well. That was extremely tough. And although both of those decisions were tough, it was the right thing for me to do in the long run. And it is forcing me to actually get reconnected to my business, because I really got so far removed from some of the administrative sides that I wasn't doing any of it. I wasn't paying attention to it. And I was like, you know what? You have forgotten what it's like to really need to do these things and to understand the inner workings of business. And I feel like I was almost running away from it, which is why I wanted to outsource so many things. So I feel like, in the long run, and now feeling how I feel right now, both of them really got me to the position that I'm in right now, where I can run this business and it is a real working business and it feels amazing. I miss them, but It was a good decision for me. If you could wipe the slate clean and start over, what advice would you give yourself the next time around? When I wrote this question down, I was thinking of what my answer would be. If I was able to completely start over, I would experiment quicker. There are so many things that I had ideas for that took me a while to feel confident to put out there publicly. And I tested a few things here or there, but I typically only tested them when I had a coach kind of listening to me, word vomit things to them, and then they were like, you should do it. And I was like, okay, it's like somebody else had to give me the confidence to do it. I would have hired a coach sooner. I would hire a coach right away. Like, I would want to have someone come in, or a strategist, a business strategist, and I would want to tell them what I'm thinking about doing, and I would want them to give me all the options, and I would want to make a more informed decision about how I get started and run that thing. The second thing is I would have come out with more diverse offer price ranges. So I started the business with extremely low ticket services though. When I started in 2019, when 2020 came around where it was 100% about the business, I had a mixture of services and coaching, but they were still high ticket or premium price. But if I would go back, I would actually really think through an offer suite where there's something entry level, there's something mid-tier, and there is something like the high ticket or whatever premium, because I feel like that lack of diversity in, first of all, understanding how to market and sell at different price ranges, but also the lack of having a backup for making money when I wanted to slow down is what caused so much of the burnout. It wasn't really the business itself. It was the choices that I made for how I'm running the business. And I didn't give myself an opportunity to step back because everything required me at all times. And even the things that I was selling required my participation. And I really wouldn't have stood a shot in hell if I just didn't have the kind of energy that I just kind of naturally have. I can't imagine if I had anything go wrong. Death in the family, a pregnancy during that time, if I got sick, if I had a chronic illness, if anything happened, any emergency, I wouldn't have done well. And that's a bad place to be in business. So if I were to start all over again and wipe the slate clean, the advice I would give myself is to diversify and experiment early, get support early, implement quickly, take your own advice, and give things time to work. What are some of the moments that made you want to cry tears of joy over the years? I always get very teary-eyed, and I'm not much of a crier or even just overtly emotional, but the things that always brings me tears of joy has been my clients. Seriously, my clients. I have built a very close relationship with my clients and something that I'm very proud of, meaning they see me as a human. They don't just, like, I had coaches that I just saw as almost like internet celebrities because they were so I'm not even using a good word because it's not unattainable. They didn't feel very approachable. They didn't feel very human. They felt very much like an internet being that you were just paying for time with. And I never wanted my clients to feel that way. I've always had just very close relationships with my clients. Not that all of them are my friends, but most of them have gotten to know me and have shared raw feelings, raw emotions, things that they're nervous about, things that they're struggling with. And they have known that I am a safe person to do that with and I have their back. And they always come back and share their wins with me years later even. And when I see that, or even if they're not sharing it with me, but I follow them and engage with them, watching these people become exactly who I knew they would be, even when they didn't have the confidence in themselves, even when they could not foresee this thing is going to work out, I always felt like I know exactly what's going to happen with that person. And I have been right 100% of the time. That always makes me want to cry tears of joy. I'm also just very proud of the business that I've created. I love my business. I absolutely love the work that I get to do, the joy that I get to experience, the impact that I get to make, the people's lives I get to touch, the growth that I get to watch happen for these people, the time that I get to spend with them, the conversations that I get to have in these communities, in these spaces. It's remarkable. I love every aspect of it. So yeah, those things give me tears of joy and honestly pride. I almost feel like a parent. Some of these people are older than me. A lot of them are younger than me, but I almost feel like a proud mom watching my babies grow and release out into the world and succeed. What has been the number one lesson you learned about yourself that you would have only learned by starting a business? I think the biggest thing that I'm learning about myself is not confirmed yet, but I do believe that I likely have ADHD. Now, I've talked about how my son was diagnosed about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years now. And they said it wasn't genetic, but I was like, they wouldn't know that because they're only going by the answers that we're giving, and we are not diagnosed, my husband and I. And so I was like, no, I think he got it from me. I've been doing a lot of research and watching just therapists and just different people who specialize in ADHD talk about symptoms and how it presents. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like, again, I'll take it back to being flaky. All of those different jobs that I took and the way I would switch companies and be bored and struggle to focus, and I would get things done at the last minute and procrastinate. I'm literally recording this. It's now 2:00 in the morning. Why am I like this? And I always just felt not bad about myself, but like, I don't know, like I just like a challenge? Is that what it is about me, or is something else there? And when I started listening to, and I am going to go get evaluated, and I'm certain that that's what the issue is. I am happy to learn that about myself. I don't think I would have learned that if I hadn't started a business. I think a business, because everything relies on you and your ability to have self-accountability. And if you have ADHD, or if you've ever been around someone who does, in your brain, you know things need to be done, but there are times where you're literally physically paralyzed and like stuck on a couch doing something that's makes no sense, and you know you should be doing the important thing, but you can't. There are times when you will go down a rabbit hole of doing a bunch of things and not actually ever doing the thing that you need to do. And I watched myself, even though I didn't even think about ADHD until recently. So it's been like the last maybe 4 months. So leading up to now, I really just have been finding ways to adapt how I run my business because I know that I behave this way. I have systems and repeatable processes for marketing, for launching, for running my business, because I know I'm going to wait until the last minute. So I've made all these adaptations, but I was like, something else is there. But damn it, you really figured out how to run your business knowing that this is your behavior. I am also really proud because I really truly didn't think that I would stick with anything longer than 2 years. And to celebrate my 4-year anniversary going all in on this business, that's a big deal for someone like me who literally switched jobs every 1 to 2 years for her entire life. I am 38, and my entire working life, and I've been working since I was 16, I have had a new job every 1 to 2 years. And to have a business for 4 years, I am so proud of myself. I now know that I'm not flaky. I can stick with things that matter, that I'm passionate about, that I care about. And I am a good business owner, and that's really exciting. How would you describe how you feel about your business today? If I could honestly describe how I feel about my business today, it's literally like catch-22. So the catch-22 part is I am absolutely obsessed with the offers that I have, the clients that I work with, and how I feel at home because I've restructured my business to prioritize my home life, my family, my health. I'm doing a much better job with that. Still have to work on it, but I'm not having as many food issues and stomach issues as I was having before, all because I think that stress is gone. But the catch-22 is I'm making significantly less because I'm selling offers that cost less. And I have to still work on learning how to be a good salesperson. I'm great at marketing. People pay attention, people find me, people will convert without me really doing a fantastic job of selling, because I just don't. But it's been really tough for me to admit that I have something that I really am not great at, and I really need to study and practice more. And I don't give myself a lot of opportunities to practice. And it's rare for me to, first of all, admit that, but also to actually experience that. Capricorns, we are cocky because we really are good at things and smart people and resourceful, and we will get some shit done and it'll be good. It's very hard for me to admit that I really need to learn to sell. I can help other people. But when it comes to me I'm like, just buy this thing because you know you need it. Why do I have to keep talking to you and asking you to do it? Like, I am telling you all these great things. It makes sense. Just do it. Because that's how I purchase. If I need it, I need it, and I'm going to get it. So the catch-22 about that, how I feel about business is I absolutely love what it's become. And I'm looking forward to and need for it to get back up to not the exact level that it was at in 2022, but to get back up to the financial levels that make me happy. And by make me happy, I mean I want to be able to do the leisure things that I want to do. I don't want to have any debt in my business. I want to contribute to the household financially. I am not at all. My husband's like holding down the fort. I'm like, I'm looking forward to getting it back to that place. And I'm watching people slowly acclimate to, oh, she has a membership now. Oh, she does this, content clarity scan now, and showing people that these things are killing it for my clients and getting them to back it like they used to back Revolutionary Brand, like how they used to back my booked out CEO VIP days. I want my current offers to sell like those other things used to, and I just need to learn how to sell better. What do you attribute to helping you stay in business and want to keep going? One of the biggest things that I attribute to that is my support system. My business coach ended up becoming a really close friend of mine, and I feel like I still have my best friends who are not business owners or entrepreneurs that I've had for 15, 20 years. Love them to death. I see them all the time, but I need friends who also understand what it's like to have a business, because it's just a different level of stress, of energy, of just living, pressure, income, because the way we can make money on this internet is just weird and wild, and I love it every day. I'm still shocked by it, but I feel like the regular people, the civilians who don't have to have these online businesses just don't understand what it's like. So having people like her in my corner that I can just talk to, we literally sit on the phone all day and just do work together. Another person, she actually connected me with another person who I actually secretly wanted to be friends with, who's also in marketing. So having someone in my own industry, and then having someone who just has a business and knows great things about business, it's actually been the best thing that I could have ever done, is have these people around to work with, to help me stay productive, and to talk just honestly about life. We're all married. 2 of us have kids. So just between the 2 of them has been just amazing. It keeps me going. My husband, I shared very honestly about how our relationship really has struggled. Our marriage has struggled over the years. And I believe a lot of it had to do with the business, but also just things that we learned about him over time and what I'm learning about myself. And I think that when I started learning to prioritize home, when we got back together, because we did separate for 6 months, when we got back together, I was like, you cannot behave the way that you were behaving before. And now everything is just so much easier at home. I don't feel the stress that I felt, which impacted my business. I'm not having the stomach problems anymore. I'm not stressed about finances as much as I was when I first cut off all my big offers. It was very financially stressful because I was making so much money before that. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But my husband and I have had this great conversation. I feel like he's allowing me to really be able to run this business and feel safe that everything will be okay. You can figure things out. Take your time. Don't take too fucking long, but take your time. I got you. The house is good. The family's good. We going on trips. We doing all these things. He's my rock. And this is what I needed him to be. I can honestly say he wasn't before, but he is now. And I think that I am a much more loving and supportive wife and patient and kind wife at home. So I feel like he's getting what he needs and I'm getting what I need. So between my business friends, my business besties, and my husband, and then the last thing I would say is the support that I have from my mom. Still, my mom still comes and does laundry. She comes every Tuesday. Today is, today is Thursday because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. But Wednesday, she came over. She typically comes over on Tuesdays and she'll cook for my family and me. She does the laundry. She takes care of my kid. If he was in school, she would have gone and picked him up and brought him home. She feeds him. Sometimes she stays late enough to put him to bed. She holds it down. I love her, obsessed. She keeps him over. She had him like basically all weekend for us. She's amazing. And then the last thing is my clients. I have the shift that I made to the new offers and to see them working and to see the impact and the wins right away. And now I'm starting to do case studies. I wasn't really doing case studies before, but now I'm doing like case studies. Y'all, I mean, watching my clients thrive and win is the best thing. And that keeps me going. I love when Tuesday comes because it's membership day. Wednesday is when I do the content clarity scan. Tomorrow, I'm going to be updating my client's content strategy. I can't wait to turn that into her and see her reaction. We've been talking on Slack for like the last couple of weeks. I'm so at peace and they keep me going. Anyway, last thing, what are your plans and vision for the next 4 years? I am finally feeling like, okay, long term, the membership is going to be the thing that I keep for the next 4 years for sure. Like I know 100% that this is an offer that I won't have to get rid of and won't feel that way about. I won't feel like, I think with the launching, it was like, okay, well, this was launching on Instagram with video. It was this can be replaced and this is replaceable. But what I've done with the membership was make sure that it is timeless. I would like to eventually finally write my book, and I would like to lean more into speaking. So if you know anyone who could use a speaker in their summit, a guest on their podcast, or someone that they could use to come and do a guest coaching spot in their program, their membership, what have you, please send them my way. I will put in the show notes the link to my speaker page where people can listen to some of the past things that I've done if they want to test it out, see what I'm like. And yeah, I would love to do that. So that's a big thing. And I also want to eventually do in-person events. I don't know what kind yet. I don't know what kind yet, but I want to do something and I would want to do it here in Atlanta. I don't want to travel anywhere. Atlanta, I would want to do it here. I don't know what it will be. It won't be a conference. I would be overwhelmed and hate that. So don't think it's going to be a big conference, but it's going to be something. And I can see that for the future. I want to thank you for being here. If you have ever purchased anything from me or worked with me, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to serve you and to have some small part in your growth in the future of your business. And if you are just being introduced to me, you met me. This is me 100% of the time. So welcome. Hope I didn't scare you off. And I hope to work with you in the future. Until next time. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, subscribe to the Revolutionary CEO podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform and leave a review to let me know the moments you enjoyed the most. For insights, tips, and conversations, connect with me on Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok. I'm always at Her Marketing Coach. Together, let's continue empowering ambitious and driven women in business. Talk to you next week.